Good morning. It's the Wall Street Weekly wrap up for May 6th, 2023. And I'm your host, John Newquist. And we had an interesting week with Apple coming out and the banks giving us the roller coasters of roller coasters. The first thing we're going to talk about is AMD. They beat the expectations. You can see it's kind of not in an uptrend. It's kind of gone, out of a negative or a positive channel and has been moving sideways. The chart's still good. I mean, the 200 moving average is still below the 50 and the 20, but it's interesting. Microsoft said they're going to help it, and it jumped. You can see it got all the way down to about maybe 80 something, and it went up almost 10% in a day, up like 6-7%. The regional banks, wow, what a mess. You look at it. You go in there Wednesday, wow, minus 27%. Friday, they all went up double digits. Double this number. Someone went up like 80%. But the exposure to commercial real estate is really not a issue because they have deposits. But if they have withdrawals, now you got paper you can't sell. You can't sell commercial real estate and dump the properties instantaneously. So, as they said, you always borrow short and sell short. You don't borrow short and sell long. You don't take the borrow in the depositors and rack up a whole bunch of 30-year notes, and it's not good. And you can see the plunge. It's a roller coaster. I mean, I thought, honestly, they said that they could have a bad week. I might have thought we lost one, The stat of the week, the unemployment came out, and it was, okay. I mean, 3.4 is the lowest, ties for the lowest in 50 years. Crude oil, man, $70. It got down in the 60s this week, and it was pretty tough. Gold's hanging up above 2,000, so that's always good. The composites, the Dow starting Friday was negative and just eked a positive. And you can see, man, Microsoft and Apple, somebody said it was like 20% of all the S&P 500, and it's like, well, I don't know if that's 20% when you look at the size, but it's up there. Again, we're beating the averages by a few percentage on the S&P 500, and again, the Techer stocks have been a lot higher. And the banks, we got to look at it. I mean, we take this big lump that's on the left-hand chart. That's all the bank failures of 2007, 8-ish, 9-ish, quite a bit. We've had 3 big bank failures, and you can see the value is a lot, compared to all the little banks and stuff. So they're calling it the Great Consolidation. You went from 14,000 banks in the mid-'80s to 4,300 or 4,100, and maybe it's going to be down to 3,000. Again, the regional banks are the lifeblood of a lot of communities, and if they start dropping, that's going to be an issue for lending because, I don't want to sound silly, but I mean, if I want to go get a loan from J.P. Morgan, I'm sure it's not going to be easy to do. Federal funds rate, again, they went up 25 basis points. It's getting up there, 5 to 5.9. A lot of people think this is it. They're going to wait next time they go look at it. Largely expected, but we'll see. A lot of people think it's done too much damage, so I don't know. I'm just thinking that's not so bad. I mean, I grew up with, in the deflation craziness of the 70s, and, they're your double digits, so. Apple, the big thing is, you got a largest company in the country, and it's losing revenues. I mean, and of course, you could say, well, where's it at? The phones are dropping. Of course, the phones, everybody bought during COVID, and now they don't need to use them because everything's good. What I'm really interested in is that Apple is really going to India, and I think India is going to be the kind of eventually equal to China, and then if China has problems, Apple just does all the work in India and United States and everything else. So, that's one of the things that you're going to find out is that China is not going to be the tech king that it was once. You're going to see a lot of stuff go over toward India, and you're going to weaken China, and that's going to come out. April was a slow month for China, so a lot of people were like shocked that their economy is not rolling very good. AMC, we've had this. We've doubled our money twice on AMC. You can see a breakout. I kind of wish I saw a breakout a little earlier, but that's a pretty good chart. I mean, think about it. That's a breakout after a long decline. I mean, you're talking last August, it finally broke out. So, will you double your money? I don't know. You look at the support line, you can get up to that. I mean, I think AMC can get 50%, and something we're going to look at, because I was just looking at the earnings beat, and we know, Mario Brothers is going to do well. It's helped AMC quite a bit, and that's one of the things that I think is going to be that played a little bit into both quarters, this one and the last one, and like I said, the summer's coming out, and people are going to be hopeful for movies, but I think like I said, they also have property too. DraftKings, we had it at one time, but look at it. It's finally another breakout candidate. Multi-year. I mean, you're going out from August, hit down the lows of December, and if you were botting it, just like a lot of tech stocks, don't get excited that a tech stock doubled since the November, December lows. That's always going to happen, but it's a breakout. Again, we're not going to wait too much. We're already overweighted certain sectors in the technology side, so do we need to go to the high levels? No, because the stuff is not as valuable or cheap as it was. And like I said, the number of deaths, COVID, the World Health Organization said it's finally done with emergency. You can see the deaths are dropping, 7-day average, pretty low, under, I remember when it was 700 in one city alone. Now we're, close to 700 total in a week in the country. So, communication service, information technology, we're still overweight. We're holding our Meta, we're holding our Snap, and everything that's profitable. And there's no point in selling them. Eventually the value will catch up. We can wait. We're not big positions in them anyway. Again, real estate, commercial sector, we're just, kind of waiting because it's not good. Everybody says, want to get the commercial converted to real estate, for apartments. That doesn't happen. But, I mean, it does, but it's slow. It's easier to make it a hotel than it is to go in and do it the other way. So we'll see. I mean, think about it. How many offices have a shower? None. Who's going to put them in? Millions of dollars to do that. And a bathroom and everything else, and a stove and a gas rig. I mean, where does it end? It's just, at least with a hotel, you don't need a gas stove, or electric stove. All right, we'll see you next week. Stay care. It's going to be an interesting month. We got the inflation numbers coming out, so we'll see how we do.